Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Cole, and all the members of the committee. This is the first time the House of Representatives will consider the Congressional Review Act in the 116th Congress. Many of you have been here for a while, voted on several CRAs before, but for my fellow freshmen, the CRA is a resolution of disapproval that allows Congress to overturn recent regulatory actions of federal agencies that do not reflect the original intent of the authorizing legislation. My resolution would overturn the U.S. Department of Education's 2019 Borrower Defense Rule. Before I get to why we need to overturn the new rule, I want to delve into some recent history and elaborate on why the Borrower Defense Rule is important to our nation's students. Predatory colleges have been at the core of scandals for decades. Going back to the 80s, the scandals surrounding predatory schools were so severe that President Reagan's education secretary, William Bennett, called it, quote, an outrage perpetrated not only on the American taxpayer, but most tragically on some of the most disadvantaged and most vulnerable members of society. That is what led to the 1992 Higher Education Act that had the first regulations and guidelines to borrower defense relief. Fast forward to 2015, Corinthian colleges collapsed overnight, leaving 16,000 students without options to finish their degrees and with mountains of debt. Shortly thereafter, in 2016, ITT Technical Institute abruptly shuttered, leaving 40,000 students, including 7,000 veterans, in the same predicament. These collapses came following years of documented predatory behavior. These students were defrauded, plain and simple. They were lied to about the prospects for getting a job after graduating. They were lied to about their credits being transferable, and they were lied to about the quality of education they would receive. These were not unintended errors. In 2016, the previous administration issued a new borrower defense regulation that not only created a streamlined process for defrauded student borrowers to apply and receive relief, but it also protected taxpayers by holding these predatory institutions accountable for the cost of the loan relief due to fraud. When Secretary DeVos took over the Department of Education, she rewrote the borrower defense rule, which makes it unreasonably difficult, actually nearly impossible, for borrowers to apply successfully for relief, severely restricts how much relief borrowers can receive, and shifts the cost of providing debt relief from predatory schools to taxpayers. This injustice is not just hypothetical. Look no further than the FTC's record $190 million settlement against the University of Phoenix. The university used deceptive ads that gave the false impression that the University of Phoenix partnered with high-profile companies like Microsoft and Twitter to place students into jobs. In the words of the FTC's director of the Bureau of Consumer Protection, quote, students making important decisions about their education need the facts, not fantasy job opportunities that do not exist. But guess what? Under this 2019 rule, most, if not all, of those students that were deceived by the University of Phoenix in 2012 and 2013 won't even be eligible to seek the loan relief that they had the right to under the HEA. It's clear that the 2019 Borrower Defense Rule prioritizes enriching predatory schools over protecting defrauded students and American taxpayers. The change taken on hold to the 2019 rule will result in fewer defrauded students seeing the relief they are entitled to under the HEA. According to outside analysts using the Department of Education's own data, it is estimated that under the 2016 rule, 53% of the eligible loan debt would have been discharged. Under the new rule, that number drops to 3%. This is because the new rule creates an outrageously high burden of proof for defrauded students to get relief. Under the new rule, borrowers would have to prove that the institution engaged in misrepresentation deliberately. Even when that same institution has clearly violated the law, that is not enough proof for the student borrower that cannot prove intent. They must also prove intent. As many of my colleagues who are lawyers know, it sometimes involves huge investigations over many years to find this type of evidence. For working students with families on a budget now, with a debt load, hiring a lawyer is not realistically or possible. And more importantly, defrauded students should not need a lawyer to get relief. The argument you will hear over and over again from the 2019 Borrower Defense Rule proponents is that the 2016 rule was way too costly to taxpayer and the new rule saves taxpayer dollars. If saving money was the true goal, the new rule would keep in place the early warning system that the 2016 rule that gave the department greater oversight of an institution's financial health. That is not the case. The 2019 rule weakens the early warning system created that ensures predatory schools facing allegations of widespread fraud are forced to set aside money to cover the potential cost of debt relief. According to analysis based on the Education Department's own data, the changes to the early warning system will result in institutions repaying only 1% of debt relief for defrauded borrowers. The other 99% will be paid by taxpayers. So as you can clearly see, the 2019 rule makes it harder for defrauded students to receive relief. The Higher Education Act gives students the right to relief, and this rule blatantly thwarts congressional intent. If we believe every student deserves a shot at success, if we believe that businesses should be held accountable for fraudulent behavior, and if we truly believe that education is a national priority, then we must overturn the 2019 Borrower Defense Rule and pass this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you.